Tanner Bybee has the Guardians starting pitching on a roll. The offense has found some green late in the game. We'll see if we can't finish up Tuesday's episode with a Guardians win as we start recording late in the game. We'll touch on what we can learn about the Guardians from the latest Statcast batting metrics. And we also have a ton of draft and minor league updates on today's show. So we got a packed one. Let's get into it on today's Locked On Guardians.
You are Locked On Guardians, your daily podcast on the Cleveland Guardians. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show today. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code all lowercase LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Here, I got a question for everyone. Do you like it when I tell you exactly where we are in the game? Comment below and let me know if I should continue doing this. As of now, we have it's the top of the eighth. Bases are loaded. There are 2 outs. And that's where we are in this one.
Good times. But it was a offensive start, though. I mean, the Guardians did not have a hit through 5 innings. They got their first hit in the 6th inning, and they left them stranded late, too, and they finally did. I mean, they had a Jose single, and then he stole second. I'm sorry, he walked, and he got stranded. Florial doubled. Did Florial end up scoring? I believe he did, right?
Yes.
They finally did.
Yeah, he was the first one. He was the guy. He scored on that Rocchio blip.
That's right. Okay, so they finally did have some success in the 8th inning, but it took them till the 6th inning to get a hit, and then they stranded a couple before that. But hey, BABIP luck. We're going to talk about a little bit about that because the Guardians in April, I finally found the data on runners in scoring position. Data in April was good. Runners in scoring position in May is bad, and it's going to kind of reaffirm what we talked about yesterday in terms of having no walks to hold up when you have bad batted ball luck, especially in a team that doesn't always hit the ball the hardest. But good start from Tanner Bybee. I know he's had a couple of he said he beat himself a little bit in terms of just one bad pitch here or there, some bad sequencing, someone ambushed a fastball on him. I kind of wonder sometimes with him, like obviously a lot of pitchers, it comes down to fastball command. You have to be able to command your fastball for other pitches to work. Sometimes, like, do you remember when Kluber late in his career, I wouldn't say late, I think it was towards the end of his peak, when teams would start to ambush Kluber, the first pitch fastball, like he would give up early at-bat home runs, or he'd have a lot of traffic early on because teams would ambush him early on. I kind of wonder because generally Tanner is a strike thrower when he's on. Like he's in the zone a lot. So I wonder if teams have kind of ambushed that fastball on him in fastball counts, and a lot of it has to do with sequencing. But he had a good night against Texas on Monday. Only got into the 6th inning, but the 2 walks at the end kind of pushed him over the edge. And Nick Sandlin, what a job he did, man. There was 1 out, I should say, when he came in.
I was so afraid he was going to walk someone, just because that's always been his MO. I was like, this is the word. But he's turning into the nails guy. Like, earlier, I wanted to appoint Gaddis, and I think Gaddis got some tired arm. He was up to 97 his last one, but man, Sandlin, maybe he's the 8th inning guy.
I think they like to use Sandlin where they have traffic on because he gets a lot of ground balls. When you have a bases loaded situation like that, you're hoping for a double play ball, and that's what Sandlin's really good at. But he's been in the zone this year. He's been pretty consistent, and he's out of that splitter, which helps him against lefties, so that's exciting. But more good pitching. I mean, this is a good Rangers lineup. I think more runs. They got swept by the Rockies over the weekend. I know. I heard you. Just choose not to react because you're still ahead of me because you keep doing this to me.
Valley State.
The Rangers got swept by the Rockies, and I think they've had a bit of a slow start this year to have the Rangers. But I mean, you still have Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Nathaniel Lowe, Adolis Garcia. Josh Smith is doing a great job filling in for Josh Young. Jonah Heim was an all-star last year. Like, you still have a really good 6-man lineup right there. And Leota Tavares is pretty good this year again. He's got a 727 OPS. And even Ezekiel Duran, even though he's all he's doing is hitting singles, he's hitting 297. So you'll take that. So that's a good lineup. So Bybee pitched well. We were wondering if the starting pitching turning a corner was the White Sox of it all. But, good start by Bobby. We'll see if they continue it. Because we know a lot of these guys have not had a good time putting together back-to-back quality starts. But
I will say
pitching's been good here.
Texas, like when you're looking at why can I not find them? Like if you're looking in terms of like OPS, which is a flawed stat, they are 12th in baseball in spite of some of their issues. Just on base percentage, they are 8th. So if anyone wanted to write them off, that's a pretty good offense. Home runs, are they down on that? Why can't I not find their name here? So maybe they're a little bit.
Seager's had a rough start to the year. I know
they're 14th in home runs. So I mean, they're still a good offense in spite of that.
And then they haven't had Josh Young, but they're still a very quality offense.
So
and
they've
was one of the best
around.
offenses in baseball. There we go. We'll take that.
Right? With against Ken Sohn, Jake Latz. It's a joke to anyone who followed just college baseball. He was a LSU transfer who never played at Kent. He had to sit out a year thanks to the archaic rules. I recognize the name. LSU had to watch out for Kent, so they wouldn't let him pitch
in the transfer portal. Year. That's funny. Hey, left-handers, don't throw a strike to David Fry, because you want to know what that one walk puts in the 4th run. It could have been 8, or it could have been 7 runs.
Significantly more. I won't make you do math. Significantly more.
Hey, now, wow!
I'm trying to help you.
2 days in a row, we're calling out my math skills. Okay,
trying to help you out here.
Oy. So yeah, the lineup, it wasn't good early on. They've had some good batted ball luck here. Florial got into one. Good night for Jose. 2 walks and a steal. And he got a RBI single with the bases loaded. So we're seeing Jose really look more like Jose recently, which is good. And then, Florial hit a hard one. Rocchio, a little BABIP luck, but the Guardians need some BABIP luck right now. I was looking it up before we started recording. So in the month of April, the Guardians had a 337 batting average on balls in play with runners in scoring position. In the month of May, that is down to 208. And as a result, they are hitting 209, 313 with runners in scoring position this month. Ironically, though, Jeff, they have a 463 slugging percentage with runners in scoring position in May. Despite all their struggles, they're hitting for power. They're hitting a lot of home runs. Like, they're hitting more power, but they just overall have less opportunities. Last month in April, it was 307, 390, 465 with runners in scoring position. But again, 337 average on balls in play and 11% walk rate, Jeff, with runners in scoring position. This month, it actually is in May where they're doing terribly. It is up to 13%. So the walk rate is better. But that's with runners in scoring position. Doesn't that just reaffirm that when runners are on, advantage for the hitter? Right, yeah. You're getting worse pitches because let's look at the month. Let's look at the data by month. Month of April and part of March. The Guardians 248, 321, 397 overall, but a 7.7 walk rate and a 288 BABIP. So league average batting line. There was a 106 WRC plus. I'm not boring everybody with numbers, but we were talking about this yesterday. In the month of May, 85 weighted runs created plus, where 100 is out league average. 205, 266, 381 with a BABIP of 227 and a walk rate of 7.3. So the walk rate went down, the strikeout rate slightly up. And guess what? The BABIP is down. Your average on balls in play is down because when you're a high contact team, that's going to fluctuate. Just more what we said yesterday's show about that nobody listened to. And I should say nobody. We do have a lot of really quality everydayers that are listening still.
Yeah, I just want to throw this out there. When I talk about a guy like Tyler Freeman and that not being my favorite profile, this is the why. This is when you are so dependent on contact first and contact, and that's why I made a big deal when he was walking earlier in the year, because that's what's going to separate him and allow him to be a constant everydayer himself. I mean, right now the sad thing is this team is doing so well. They got better production out of Miles Straw and Mike Zunino at catcher and center field than they've got this year out of center field and catcher. Like, that's the weird situation. They're underperforming Zunino and Straw right now, which is words I never thought I'd say. But when you are all contact, you are at the mercy of the BABIP gods. And I don't know what they did to offend the BABIP gods. But they did something. And the thing is, you're going to have months where you look unbeatable because everything falls in, and you're going to have months where you're terrible.
The story of 2022, right?
Yeah, the BABIP gods love them all year. They sacrificed fried chicken, and everything was good.
Can we also talk about Tyler Freeman leading off and Brian Rocchio leading off and Estevan Florida leading off?
I mean, I don't know who else you do, but it's not ideal.
Well, so like Andres Jimenez is a very aggressive hitter. I don't really. I said Jose. Yeah, he's fast and he does make a good amount of contact. He is an aggressive hitter, so I don't know if he's a great fit for. And he doesn't have strong platoon splits, even though he's kind of had a rough month of May, or ever since that hot start. But like, can't we just put Jose or Andres first? Like, no one's going to suggest Josh Naylor hit leadoff. Let's not go crazy there. But can we reasonably say, of healthy players right now, your two best hitters are definitely Jose and Jimenez, right? Like, is there anybody else that you would rank in above Jimenez? Like Jose 1, Jimenez 2, keeping Naylor out just because we're not going to suggest him hitting leadoff. Is there anybody else?
No, I mean, Kwan.
Brennan's doing a good job. No, I'm saying healthy right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Fry against lefties.
I could see that.
But like,
so why can't we just stop playing around with Freeman and Rocchio and Florial hitting leadoff?
Honestly, like, here's the thing:
one of these two guys up.
Jimenez runs better in Freeman. He runs better in Florial, and he's got a higher on base percentage. That's what matters. Like, we don't really care about the slug
pitches, at least.
Yeah, we don't care about the slugging percentage of your leadoff hitter. But
no.
Steven Kwan had a 407 on base. Josh Naylor has a 353, and then Jimenez is at a 312. Rocchio 291, Jose 291 are next. So yeah, put Jimenez. He's the best runner of the group, and he gets on base at a higher.
Or Jose, one of those two. Just please. I think we need to.
I'd rather have Jose 2, and then Naylor 3, and just give.
I'm fine with either of those two moving up in favor of playing with this Florial, Freeman, Rocchio.
Whoa, there's the bad defense. We need the sad trombone music. Remember when everyone told us that Estevan Florial was a plus defender in center field when that trade happened? Where's that guy?
Yeah,
I had so many people
about that one.
He's a plus center fielder. Yeah, that's
not so much. That was an in-between hop, but yeah, not a good playing the ball. All right, so we're going to continue to have commentary on the game as it goes on while we're recording, and we have to get into the new Statcast bat tracking metrics, and we'll see what we learn about the Guardians hitters from that. And we also have a ton of draft and some minor league stuff we want to get into as well, if time allows. So a lot more to come as today's episode rolls on.
I am over on the Prize Picks website right now. I just want to talk about all these things. I don't even know what some of these things are that you can bet on. Dota 2, Tennis Live, Cricket, Val, Darts, WNBA season, NFL, SNZ, KBO, NBA, MMA, tennis, specials, CS2, LOL. I thought that was laughing out loud, but that must be something I'm just old and don't know about. PGA, NBA, MLB, soccer, NHL. I already said MLB, but hey, it's got lots of things in this line. You can go through and just find anything. It's amazing how many things you can do at Prize Picks. And for instance, okay, so here we go. Everyone knows about Caitlin Clark after her big year. I can pick more or less at 21.5 points. Now, this is not my sport, so I would not pick it, but this is the whole point of it. You can go pick more or less on several easy stat categories. And so head over to Prize Picks, download the app or use the website. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB, all one word, all one lowercase, for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Almost as easy as finding the Guardians on your SiriusXM app to listen to, not watch game. It would not be easy to watch it on your SiriusXM app, but you can listen to it by just searching Guardians on the app. There you go. Florial recovered for a catch, so
he's fine.
Good for him.
Like, I had to laugh.
Definitely in a corner.
He's had some misplay things, but I had to laugh at everyone who was like assuring me he was a plus defender in center field. And so for those of you who play Locked on Guardians drinking game, me mentioning people telling me bad information on Twitter, go ahead.
Yeah, well, hey, we didn't see as much of Florial. All right, so Statcast has some new fun metrics out there. They're doing bat tracking. So basically what they're tracking is players' bat speed, how often they can square balls up, swing length, bad swings, which are swords, which makes an uncomfortable swing, blast, which is what a ball you square up with a fast swing, and then swing length. So a lot of things you can learn about whether guys have fast swings, slow swings, how long their swing is, and how often they're actually able to do stuff with their swing. So there's a lot of things you can learn on there, and I'll put some of if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put some of the stuff on the bottom of what it's measuring. But the best thing I could say is that bat speed matters generally. Like, that's just a general rule of thumb. Bat speed matters. The great Sarah Langs of ESPN Research and many other places had this graphic up on Sunday Night Baseball when they introduced this. And if you're watching on YouTube, bat speed, why it matters. If you swing a bat 80 miles an hour or harder, your slugging percentage is 665. You're batting 321. And it goes down incrementally, 70 to 79, 274, 477, and 69 miles an hour or less, not so nice, 202, 254. So in general, bat speed matters. Now, it doesn't mean it means everything to everybody. There are unicorns, there are outliers. Steven Kwan, as we're going to learn, is an outlier here. But generally speaking, for the most part, for most players,
Arez, right? Arez and Kwan are kind of their own things.
Yes, they are like so far down in the corner. It's absolutely freaking hilarious. Like, here's your chart on YouTube I'm going to show you right now. This is average bat speed and swing length. You can see on YouTube, Kwan has average bat speed of 65 miles an hour, roughly, and swing length of 6.4. And Luis Arraez has average bat speed of 62 and an average swing length of less than 6. So those guys are good hitters, and they still know how to barrel or square the ball up. When you square the ball up, you are hitting what Statcast calls squaring a ball up, is how much exit velocity was attained and how much potential exit velocity was possible based on the bat speed in that pitch. So Kwan squares a lot of balls up. If you look at the Statcast data, he finds a way to square the ball up very often. It's not necessarily great exit velocity, but the guy knows how to find the barrel, basically, or hit the ball where it needs to be hit. He's an outlier. He doesn't need good bat speed, and he has a short swing. So if you're watching on YouTube on bat speed and squared up, he has the most squared up balls on the team, but he has the slowest bat speed on the team. He's just a unicorn. He is unique. Josh Naylor has a lot of squared up balls. The average number of squared up balls per swing this year is 26% roughly. Josh Naylor is above average on that, but he's also above average on bat speed. He is his own guy. Jose is close to both lines. It's just really interesting. So Kwan is just a unicorn. As a team, the Guardians, they generally have short swings. They don't strike out if you look by team. So the Guardians are way down as I'm blocking it with this banner. Guardians whiff rate. They don't strike out a lot. The league average strikeout rate is 23.5%. They strike out about 23%, so below average whiff rate. And they have shorter swings, a little under 7.2 or a little under 7.3. So we know the Guardians don't whiff. But bat speed does not equal more contact either. That's the other lesson I think I took away from this, was that Estevan Florial has some of the best bat speed on the team. He has a bat speed of 73 miles an hour. The average bat speed in baseball, I think, is 72 or 71.5. Estevan Florial, 73 miles an hour for bat speed. But he has the highest whiff rate on the team. Gabriel Arias has the highest bat speed on the team in terms of, Arias and Laureano both have a 74 mile an hour bat speed. They both have some of the highest whiff rates on the team. So just because you swing hard doesn't mean you're going to make contact. So that also doesn't mean shorter swing too. The other thing I'm going to pull up really quickly too is that length and whiff. I think I had that up here. Bat speed, width, square speed. Anyway, I think I lost it. But basically, Estevan Florial has one of the shorter swings in the team. He doesn't have a long swing, but he also whiffs a lot, and he has good bat speed. So just because you have good bat speed and because your swing is short doesn't mean you're going to make more contact. And that's why I say, like, there are outliers like Steven Kwan. Like, bat speed doesn't mean everything to everybody.
No,
but it's a cool metric. Yeah, it's helpful. Obviously, as we showed the graphic, that it definitely matters. if you look at some of the best guys in the league, like Giancarlo Stanton has the best bat speed in the league right now. He's just been okay. Like, he's a decent hitter, but he's never what he won. He's not what he once was. Matt Wallner is right behind him. He has less swings, obviously, so the minimum is a little bit goofy here. If I go to qualified, it's still Stanton at 8.6. He has the highest bat speed in the league. There's O'Neal Cruz. There's Kyle Schwarber, Ronald Acuna, Aaron Judge, Joe Adell, interestingly enough. Like, all those guys, they're great, right? But if I go down to average bat speed, Kwan and Arise are the worst in the league in terms of bat speed. Justin Turner is down there. Bryson Stott is down there. Those guys are good hitters. Andres Jimenez is down there.
It comes down to swings. Like, a lot of those guys down there are not power guys. So it's finding ways to, without getting too much in the weeds, it's like guys that are finding out ways to use their swing or finding out how to adjust to be a different type of hitter. It also points to Kwan's 3 home runs are great this year, but he is never probably getting beyond like 12. Like, it's just the way his swing is one of those things that's always going to keep it that way. I would still argue he's been their best hitter this year in spite of that. But yeah, I think, and then there's always the whole point where, like, there's someone like Travis Bazzana who's at almost a 79 this year. So just keep that in mind. Yeah,
we'll talk about that in the next segment. We found someone who pulled that data up, and we'll talk about that about our draft update. But yeah, more evidence that the Guardians they love unicorns. Steven Kwan is a unicorn. Yeah. He's a great hitter who doesn't have great bat speed. Generally, more bat speed is good in general, but there are unicorns, and for some reason, the Guardians just love to try to find them, and occasionally they do, but they have too many. They're trying to find too many instead of maybe
it's not a route to success. It's not a route to consistent success.
No. All right, we got a lot of college stuff to get to, a lot of MLB draft stuff to get to, as it's the top of the 9th for the Guardians. They're at 4-0 against the Rangers as we're recording this, and if time allows, we'll also jump into some minor league stuff, but we might be saving that for another day because I have a feeling the draft stuff is going to take a lot of this next segment, so stick around for that good stuff. The good stuff, what you need is life insurance. I know not everyone likes to talk about this subject, and it can be kind of tough. Definitely can be overwhelming, without a doubt. I think all types of insurance, honestly, are overwhelming, but life insurance is definitely one of them, and you need that financial safety net in your life. You can find life insurance policies with Policy Genius that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options even offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams, which makes a big deal in these things. Look, my company offered life insurance when I first started with them. They do not anymore because our insurance changed. So I had to go out and I had to find a different route to do life insurance. And people with high risk jobs, life insurance is hard to find. It's not always going to go with you job to job either. And you need that protection for your family, especially as you get older, and you want to lock those things in too before you get older and have health concerns too, because those will always go up as you get later, as I found out. And that's more of the kind of advice you can find with Policy Genius. They have licensed experts to help talk you through it, and they're not beholden to any one insurer, so they can give you unbiased advice and help get you the best policy based on your needs. They don't have to offer you they have no incentive to offer you one specific insurer. And if you don't believe us, thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot can show you customers who found the best fit for their needs. Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB. Click the link in the description. Get your free life insurance quotes. See how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/LockedOnMLB. And game 2 of the Guardians Rangers series will be, I think, 8 o'clock again on Tuesday night. You can search for that and listen to it on your SiriusXM app. Just search for the Guardians. All right. Draft stuff real quick, Jeff. Draft. We'll start with draft.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. While we're transitioning from bat speed stuff to ignore the screenshots of Travis Bazzana without a shirt on. That was not the intent here, but
unless you like it, then hey, more power to you and go looking for that. I mean,
yeah, I don't care. It's not why it's here, but I don't mind it. It's so the tweet came from MLB Feel at Austin Hedges Truther. Just quickly, he came up with the bat speed that from Driveline that we know that Travis Bazzana had been doing over the offseason, the 4 hours one way, as Jeff talked about, for him to work on this stuff. His average bat speed increased from 68.7 to 75.8. And I think we've seen it's gotten even faster based on data during the season that we've seen. But he pointed out that would be putting him between Trout and Alvarez, both very good hitters at the major league level. So just fun to point that out right there, that the bat speed for Bazzana does stack up. And that's agnostic of anything else. Like a wood bat or a metal bat, that is just pure bat speed. That's what you can do with your body and what you can do with your hands. That's all that matters. So
it doesn't necessarily, it could help with power. I mean, it helps with power, but also it's not, don't necessarily
being a good hitter.
Yes. It doesn't have, it's a little bit agnostic of power as well. Like it just says that he has that type of bat speed, that he is able to, get to those pitches. And as we saw from the earlier chart, what that means.
Correct. Just as long as the bat speed will help make up for a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean power. It just means that it doesn't even mean more contact. It just is what it is. And
it's a better chance of success.
Correct. It just reduces some of the risk a little bit. And I think anytime as a hitter, if you're mentioned in the same conversation as Trout and Alvarez, that means you're doing something right. It doesn't mean you're doing the same things or you have the same capabilities of them, but it's just saying you're in the conversation with them athletically in some respects. And those guys can do good things with the bat. And I think Travis Bazzana can too. Very quickly, Jeff, I want to give you the floor to talk about your college home run records.
Okay.
And I don't want anybody to take this.
I thought we weren't going to talk about my college. I'm kidding.
Your college records.
I want to point out Freeman. No, he's not from Dune. He's Freeman walked again, which again is such a positive sign for him. That's going to be what turns the season around. So another Freeman walk. Just want to highlight and call that. But now I'll be quiet.
I don't want anybody to think that I'm sitting here. This is purely an observation because I happen to watch Georgia play over the weekend on TV, and I watched Condon play, as I do a lot on weekends with college baseball these days. The South Carolina pitcher, Garrett Gainey, who's a 24-year-old transfer from Liberty, and I think he was at Winthrop before. That's not the point. He gave a double to Condon earlier in the game, and then he came back next to bat and struck him out. What I noticed was he was throwing a lot of inside fastballs, and Gainey was throwing about 92, 94 to Condon specifically. And the inside fastballs he had a hard time catching up to. And again, this isn't to say, I'm sitting here saying Condon's not good, don't draft him. No, I think no matter who they take, it's going to be a good player. But I'm just saying, I think that's part of the risk with the 6'6" player, as we see.
Historically, that has been a problem, is the bust him in on the hand.
Inside fastball. Yeah. So I'm just pointing out how teams might attack him and how it looked like the South Carolina was attacking him. It just could be a thing teams pick up on. I'm just pointing that out. Like, every hitter has a hole in their swing. No one's perfect. Bazzana's not a perfect prospect either. Nobody is. But I'm just pointing out an observation that could be something teams exploit. And I haven't seen as much of Bazzana's issues because I can't watch his games because
stupid Flow
Pac-12 is on Flow Sports. So hey, if they want to be a sponsor,
if you want to be a sponsor and give us one, then I will know. Then I will take it back and greatly apologize.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. We're not going to get into minor league stuff today. We'll save it for tomorrow. But Jeff, you did a lot of research on college home run records and just how bonkers the environment is this year.
I was DMing Justin because it's like this way I could keep track, and I literally had to keep going back and counting.
You should have got flagged for spam.
I should. At one point, I couldn't send any more to you. I had to wait a bit. But I just went through and I looked at every single home run leader, and then I looked at had they been at their program for a year or more. And what's absolutely ridiculous is I counted at least 18 teams. And I knew I'm probably forgetting someone who set career home run records this year. 3 of them, 2 guys set the home run record this year. They're competing to see who's going to end the season with it. One of those teams, Morehead State, had a 44-year record for home runs. And they got 2 guys broke it this year. One of them's only been there for 2 years. So again, Morehead State is a school that doesn't, they're fine, but they don't generate a ton of guys who leave early, right? So their home run record lasted for 44 years because, and someone broke it in 2 years. Jack Caglione is 7 home runs away from breaking Matt Laporta's record that he set in about 300 more plate appearances. It's absolutely bonkers. I could go through and complete a whole list, but you pretty much can go through and look at most guys. within the next week, Sacramento State's going to have it. Miami of Ohio will. Toledo set theirs. If you're looking in Ohio schools, I went through everyone who had 20 or more home runs. By the way, like there were years where like 20 home runs was the high water mark. I had to go to the second page of data to get through all the 20 home run guys. Like there is
this year alone.
This year alone, I've never seen. There is like more 20 home run hitters this year than I feel like the previous 2 years combined, and we're not even really mid-May yet. It's 18 teams, and I didn't even do a full check. So I just kind of burned out. I'm like, okay, I'll check the 19 home run guys after this. So like Thatcher Hurd, not Thatcher Hurd, that's a pitcher. Tanner Thatch, like in 2 years, has set the home run record at
That's an OTP made up name.
UNC Wilmington, I want to say. I'd have to go look. Like this is top of my head stuff right now, but it was unbelievable. So I don't know if it's a baseball. I don't know if it's a bat. I don't know if it's both, but we can't look at any of this home run data. Again, if anything, this is like, hey, maybe Hagen Smith should go 1-1. But you can't look at any of this home run data without looking, a little bit askew at it. It's why the Cape Cod, I think, is more valuable than ever, because it's the wood bat league and it's the best of the best. And, it's a little more controlled. And we already knew the Guardians put so much value in that. They probably are putting more.
They're not the only ones, though.
No, they're not. But, they're the team that I have followed the most in depth. So I can be like, okay, this is a team that does that. But yeah, I mean, right now, I know someone joked I need to have my own conspiracy podcast. It's like I could take a little bit of what I'm hearing here, a little bit what I'm hearing there. But just the raw numbers of this are unbelievable. 18 records that I can at least count. So we're talking about there's 120 teams, 100 and
a lot of D1 schools for baseball. Yeah,
it might be higher, but still, we're looking at probably over 10%. I don't think there's 180. So over 10% of records are being broken by guys doing it in 2 to 3 years, breaking 4-year records, breaking records and then again, not just one guy. I mean, Tennessee, you got 2 guys battling for who's going to graduate with him. Morehouse State, that came to mind. But yeah, hey, if you're a Texas Ranger fan, at least you get to see Class A tonight in the 9th. That was something that they one time hoped they'd get.
Ouch. Yeah, that 1A and Corey Kluber. Also point out, too, when you're talking about these home run records, single season and career records. So this is not a new issue. It's not like the bat and ball question just started in 2024.
Started last year.
I had heard at least as recently as last year that teams or that scouts were also questioning this as well about the bats and the balls. So this is not a new issue. So if you're saying, well, guys were better last year, this has been an issue for a couple of years now. So the good thing is teams have the exit velocities. They know generally what looks weird and what doesn't look weird. And if a guy's made any improvements, like, Bazzana or Condon, whenever, that those are matching what they're doing. So that's the important thing. A lot more draft stuff and minor league stuff I wanted to get to today, Jeff, but we will save that for another day, and we can at least finish off this episode knowing the Guardians walked away a winner against the Rangers. And
don't put that jinx on there.
And Class A allows 7 runs, then woof.
I mean, it's funny. We're at the point where he needs the bats. He needs the innings and the quick. Yeah,
Ben Lively and Jack Leither today.
Yep. Quick thank you to Sizemore 24. I feel like this is his 8th review on iTunes, but I'll take it.
Our shoot.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like Ashen Do CJ I missed before. I don't know. I feel like I would have remembered that name. We want to thank you for your iTunes reviews. Thank you. It's hey, we're over 4.6. So thank you all for doing that. Comment on Ryan Walschmidt is another guy we need to talk more draft on. So, but comment what else you want to hear from us, what you'd like to see, what you're enjoying. Thank you for watching, and go Guardians, go.